Faith Odhiambo. Wakenya walikuwa wanafikiria that maybe wewe ni tofauti na Samuel Makaure. Walikuwa wanafikiria maybe you are very different with Samuel Makaure. Kumbe pia nyinyi wote mnafanana tu, kuna kitu. Ni interest zenyu tu. Mlikuwa mnatafuta tu njia ya kufika karibu na president. Wewe ulikuwa unashinda court kila saa. Mwingine alikuwa anashinda kwa TV station kila saa. Kumbe nyinyi wote mlikuwa mnatafuta njia yenye mnaweza tafika karibu mkule, and you are complaining about the government.
Pressure is mounting on Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo to step down just a day after her appointment to the panel of experts on compensation of victims of demonstrations and public protests. In a strongly worded letter, Advocate Levi Munyeri warns that he will move to oust Odhiambo from office if she insists on holding the LSK presidency while also sitting on the panel, a body he argues is unconstitutional and duplicates the role of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. NTV's David Mudhoka reports on the fresh controversy surrounding President William Ruto'S compensation plan.
Barely a day after being sworn in as vice chair of the panel of experts on compensation of victims of demonstrations and public protests, LSK President Faith Odhiambo is at the eye of the storm. Lawyer Levi Munyeri has threatened to file an urgent motion for her removal from office if she fails to resign. In his letter to the LSK president, Munyeri protests Faith's decision, stating, and I quote, "Your acceptance to serve in the panel of experts violates the Constitution and statute in the following ways. 1. The panel has duplicated the function of a constitutional creation, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, whose functions are outlined in Article 59 of the Constitution to include to receive and investigate complaints about alleged abuses of human rights and take steps to secure appropriate redress where human rights have been violated. Patently, the president of LSK has taken oath to serve in a panel of experts that is anchored on unconstitutionality. 2. The constitutionality of the panel of experts was challenged in the High Court. The pending petition raises serious constitutional grounds that should prompt a reasonable legal mind to conclude that the panel is unconstitutional. 3. In July 2024, you declined the appointment by President Ruto to serve as a member of an independent task force that will audit the country's public debt. Your reason for declining that appointment was that in your assessment it was unconstitutional since the mandate to conduct public audit rests with the Office of the Auditor General. In this case, you should have drawn a similar conclusion that the mandate to compensate victims of state-sponsored violence rests with the KNCHR. Munyeri concludes by stating, and I quote, "It is based on the foregoing that I bring to your attention that by accepting the appointment you have offended the Constitution. By purporting to serve as the LSK president and President Ruto's appointee, you have compromised the competencies of the LSK to perform its functions under Section 4 of LSK Act. On this matter, I speak for the Constitution as an LSK member. I will pursue the relevant legal channels to hold the aforementioned illegalities." End of quote. But responding to such criticism during her swearing-in, Faith Odhiambo dismissed claims of betrayal, insisting she will not hesitate to step away if the panel loses direction.
Faith Odhiambo will not let you down. The bloodshed of our comrades must not be in vain, and no, I will not take any prisoners. I will instead keep you informed of the developments, and at no point shall I act to negate the gains that we have made together as a country.
I want to echo my Vice Chair's emphasis that this particular effort is victim-centered. It is impartial and it is non-partisan. It is apolitical. It is not an exercise in political expediency. It is a heartfelt exercise in which we intend as a country to lead not just with a head, but to lead with a heart.
At the same time, legal minds are questioning the compensation framework itself, including whether it risks setting a dangerous precedent for future governments to crack down on protesters, knowing they can simply pay off victims.
There should be no situation where a government or anybody contemplates loss of life, unless it's accidental, unless it is God's act. Life lost through police brutality or lost through executive orders or through breaking of demonstrations or simply violating people, so that life is not one that you want to say it can be lost then compensate. So let us first of all uphold the right to life.
Dr. Olo also poked holes at the legality of the panel, insisting it duplicates the role of KNCHR, while also questioning the LSK president's decision to sit in it.
Why would a professor of law bring in lawyers to violate the constitution, to violate the law? Because what authority does this ad hoc committee have as to talk about compensation, and what authority do they have to enforce that compensation? What if that process has no legal clothing and cannot withstand any test of time? What if it's going to be unfair to Kenyans and Kenyans were to go to court? What a waste of time.
All eyes now turn to Faith Odhiambo, whose next move could determine not just her future at the helm of LSK, but also the fate of the controversial compensation panel.
The Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo is facing mounting criticism after accepting to serve as vice chairperson on the newly sworn-in panel tasked with developing a framework to compensate victims of protests and police brutality. It is a move that has sparked mixed reactions within legal and civil society circles.
I, Faith Odhiambo Moni.
And even before she settles down on her new responsibilities, many critics, including her colleagues at the Law Society, are not happy with her decision. Levi Munyeri, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, has already threatened to initiate her removal from office if she does not resign from the panel. In a letter dated 4th September 2025 and delivered to LSK offices, Munyeri says, and I quote, "The panel has duplicated the function of a constitutional creation, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, KNCHR, whose functions are outlined in Article 59 of the Constitution to include to receive and investigate complaints about alleged abuses of human rights and take steps to secure appropriate redress where human rights have been violated." Patently, the president of LSK has taken an oath to serve in a panel of experts that is anchored on unconstitutionality. More critics argue that the constitutional framework further allocates these responsibilities to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, and the Victims Protection Agency, VPA. The President's unilateral creation of this panel therefore duplicates and undermines these constitutional organs, breaching Articles 1(1), 2(2), 10(2), and 129(1), which establish the supremacy of the Constitution, the rule of law, and good governance as national values.
There is a step that is being skipped. We have not seen any of those perpetrators, those who came in Subarus. None of them has been brought to book. None of them has been, arrested.
Munyeri argues that Odhiambo's involvement compromises the independence of the Law Society of Kenya, an institution expected to remain neutral and hold the state accountable. Other critics argue that joining a presidential task force blurs the line between justice advocacy and political endorsement. But Odhiambo has defended her decision, stating that her involvement ensures transparency and legal accountability, and that the victims' voices will be safeguarded through legal representation within the process.
In this exercise, my service will be solely to the people of Kenya. There is no Kenya that belongs exclusively to politicians or their children. Neither does it belong to broad-based government nor a country of cousins.
Another letter dated 5th September and written to the CEO of the Law Society of Kenya by Advocate Paul Kiragu Wadhuta argues that while the imperative of delivering justice and reparations to victims of police brutality and public protests is commendable, it is essential to interrogate the constitutional propriety of the panel's establishment. Kiragu goes ahead to quote Article 132(4) of the Constitution of Kenya, which clearly circumscribes the powers of the president to those expressly conferred by the Constitution or by an act of parliament. The panel, however, was constituted by presidential proclamation and gazetted without any enabling legislative framework or recommendation by the Public Service Commission.
Should my efforts be frustrated or cannot be or undermined in any manner whatsoever, I am prepared to do the honorable thing in fidelity with the rule of law and the Constitution of Kenya.
Faith Odhiambo is now caught up in a clash between personal conviction and professional expectations. Whether her choice was based on moral duty, legal insight, or public service, it is now subject to institutional accountability. In yet another letter dated 5th September 2025, Advocate of the High Court Francis Wanjiku has written to the LSK CEO requesting for a general special meeting to discuss Faith Odhiambo's service to the society, and I quote, "In light of these concerns, I respectfully request that the Council, pursuant to Section 16 of the Law Society of Kenya Act 2014, convene an extraordinary general meeting of the LSK membership to deliberate and decide with finality whether the current president should continue to serve in that capacity." The letter continues to state that this matter is of such gravity that it warrants the democratic input of the society's membership to ensure that the LSK's leadership reflects its core values of independence, integrity, and public trust.
This is selective justice, and I don't like it. It is selective justice. And we don't, money, by the way, you can't solve problems by throwing money at it.
Meanwhile, all eyes will remain on the panel's ability or inability to deliver real justice and on how LSK's involvement shapes both the perception and outcome of the process.
Mr. President, let's be honest. You're the only one still bringing up tribalism like it's 1990. We're not fighting over tribes. We're struggling with joblessness, high taxes, police violence, and broken promises. Every time we speak up, you throw in tribal lines hoping we'll look the other way. But guess what? We won't. We're Gen Z. We've got receipts, internet, and zero chill for bad leadership. We don't care what tribe you're from. If you're not serving the people, we'll say it loud. Stop using tribalism to cover failure. It's tired. It's weak. Fix the economy. Protect our freedoms. Respect the people. We've moved on. Maybe it's time you did too.
Safina Party is all about the economy. It is the economy, stupid. And those who will see that it is the economy will join Safina Party. And there are many people who have expressed interest to even contest for positions on Safina Party ticket. At the right time, we are also going to unveil our machine. The engine has been turned on. Safina is coming. You know, a ship comes slowly and gently. You may think you are seeing a small speck somewhere at the back. Before you know it, you see a massive ship. That is Safina. Safina Party, the economy.
So the act is coming.
The act is coming. There are many Kenyans who are joining Safina Party in drafts, and I urge anybody who wishes to join Safina Party. Star 509 hash. Our party code is 034. Safina Party, the vessel for economic emancipation of our people. It's not about legacy politicians, it's about the people. And giving power to the hands of the people. That is what Safina Party stands for. And for the first time since independence, let's have an opportunity for our politics to be about the people and giving power to the people, not retaining power in the hands of legacy politicians. And we've always said two key components that we'll work on. On the economy, we are very clear, no odious debt. What that means is free education, from primary to tertiary, free healthcare. We are going to reduce VAT, 16% VAT, we are going to do away with it. And we are also going to give people an opportunity to get access to credit, the money that is held by banks, government should not borrow that money. That money should be available to Kenyans to borrow.
Okay.
And what that means is this. Interest rates will fall to even 3%. You borrow 1 million, your repayment is only 30,000 in terms of interest.
Okay.
In a year. You borrowed 1 million, you're paying interest of only 30,000. What can't you do? And OCPDs must be elected by the people. It's time the people take control of their security by electing the above. Orders from above will never come from Nairobi. The above will be the people. That is Safina. Anybody who believes in that, welcome to the ark.
Well, we wish you all the best. You said it's 18th of September.
Yes.
Ruto simpigi kura. Amenajisi inchi. Bila kutumia hata kondom.
This is Selector Dede.
Wanadhani ya si bongo lala, ikikupita we bongo lala, na walosema jana iwezi fika leo, tuko ground tunasoza. Hati jikuku mewaka sana, na mabisto na chafua raga, na walosema jana iwezi fika leo, tuko ground tunasoza. Hakuna boka, peleke shuleni watasoma, madakitari wamegoma, hapa sani Yesu atatuponya. Wambie punde imechoka sana, farasi bado ijapatikana, ni mandai wanagonya na mali wanaponda, unakonda wananona.